Hello, Redburn here, with a quick no-frills beginner's guide on what to do when you first play Kenshi. This guide will explain to you the essentials that you need to secure first. Hopefully, this will also give you a feel for what the game is. A relatively slow but deeper and more complex take on the dystopian open-world survival crafting-centric games that are currently on the rise. This guide closely follows the numerous tutorials spread out across the internet, particularly Fyodor Dostoevsky and Otto Enel's guides. You can see the links to those guides in the description box below. Okay, so first off, this guide assumes you've picked the Wanderer option, which gives you a single character with nothing but a few coins, a pair of pants, and a rusty sword, ready to venture out into the world according to the option's description. The Wanderer class is a good option for beginners as it gives you a modest amount of cats, Kenshi's currency, and a decent enough weapon with which to defend yourself with. You also start out with just a single character, with no other characters to manage. This one character startup should ease you gently into the game. Next up is the character creation process. I won't go into detail about this system as it's fairly straightforward. You can edit your character's name, gender, and almost everything about his or her physique, including such minute details as nose length, hair color, arm bulk, and breast size. Did I just say breasts? When you first fire up a game, almost always you'll have to go through the video game's tutorial. While you can skip other games' tutorials, you do well to absorb whatever in-game instructions games like Kenshi throw at you. Kenshi is a complex video game, letting the player loose in a dystopian wasteland with different biomes that are populated with a wide array of factions that range from friendly to downright ravaging, looting mobs who chase down and kill anyone they see. Here, you're free to do what you wish, including spending your time crafting and trading goods, hunting savages, or following militia patrols and getting rid of wandering looters. You can even make your own town complete with walls and other defenses. With this level of complexity, do take the time to scroll and read through Kenshi's help section, which can be called up anytime. Take note that each section has a handful of pages. I missed clicking on the next button the first time I played this game. As in any novel and movie that involves dystopian themes, Kenshi does follow the safety in numbers approach. Here, when you first start out, you're not Chuck Norris or Julio Valiente. You're just another nobody out to make a name for himself. Look for trouble, and I guarantee you'd be neck deep soon enough in it. You won't survive if you pick up a fight with anyone. Hence, there are two things you must do. Get your first squad mate and train both characters. Hiring your first companion is easy. You just have to find a bar and strike up a conversation with a handful of mercenaries there. Since you only have 1,000 cats if you pick the Wanderer option, you can only afford newbie 700 cat adventurers. After hiring one, you can then bedeck your two-man squad with whatever cheapo armor and footwear you can find. For now, the only things you can afford are straw hats and wooden sandals. Mind you, these won't do you any good if you do run into trouble, but the accoutrements will help you keep your squad in one piece as you make good your escape. However, straw hats to give you a minor boost in your combat skill, and so are useful when aiding militia get rid of bandits. But more of this later. Straw hats may be optional at this point in the game, given that your characters can't go toe-to-toe with mobs. But at a 10 cat price point, there isn't any reason why you shouldn't buy them. Wooden sandals, though, are vital at this point in time. With their 1.1x athletic skill boost, they guarantee that your characters get that extra edge when running away from hostile mobs and getting to their destinations faster. Eventually, you'll have to add more mercenaries to your squad, but for now, let's focus on shaping up your team so they can fend for themselves. Given that Kenshi is an unforgiving game, you just can't attack the first group of looters you see. That would be a recipe for disaster. Sure, that would increase your character's toughness stat, but that's assuming at least one of your group survives the encounter. So right now, just focus on helping the more capable enforcers found in every town deal with hostile bands. And to ensure that you just don't let your characters wade into a fray swinging their weapons like clueless morons who were born yesterday, you should train them first. How to do this? It's really simple. In almost every town I visit, there's a large dome structure that serves as a local militia's HQ. In it are training dummies. You just select a character, right-click on a dummy, and select Train. This way, you can level up your character's attack skill up to level 5. Now this can take a great while. While basic training dummies can only get your attack skill up to level 5, getting there is a boring process, involving you sitting in front of your monitor, seeing tiny progress bars go up as your characters wail away at wooden dummies. It's not a really great way to spend several minutes of your life on. Luckily, the game has speed up and pause features. Speed up the game to its fastest rate when doing trivial things such as training and getting to a destination. At the end, you should have 2 characters that have attack skill 5 stats. They can't do jazz by their lonesome, but at least they won't trip over their own swords when helping out the enforcers. What's a dystopian RPG without combat? Kenshi may not be the most complicated melee simulator out there, but it has a complex system. Characters can taunt, go on the defensive, apply first aid to incapacitated squad mates, and even haul off critically wounded allies to safety. Kenshi's intricate combat system won't be explained in detail here, however. This guide is just about what beginners can do to have a self-sufficient band, and so, to avoid swamping viewers with a deluge of information, that aspect of the game is left for another guide I'll make in the future. So what is this guide going to cover about Kenshi's combat? Enough to allow you to fully equip your characters with decent gear, and if you can pick off enough straggling bandits from whatever slugfest you stumble on, train and level up your squad's combat skills in the process. First thing you must do is find a town where there's a regular influx of sand ninja and dust bandits. Towns situated in the frontier facing hostile settlements, Clown Steady comes to mind, are good places to start in, given that they're always besieged by gangs of looters. If there's a dearth of bandits in the area, you can always go outside the walls, right-click on a friendly patrol in the area, and click on Follow. If they find a hostile group, stand back, let the enforcers engage the enemy first, and then go in when the ranks of hostiles begin to thin. You should then begin attacking bandits who've been separated from their main group. A caveat: Kenshi is a realistic game. Your characters are considered as inexperienced fighters in the early game. Do not engage enemies who aren't busy fending off 1 to 2 enforcers. Even dying, limping ones can 1 to 3 shot your characters. After every skirmish, loot the bandits by right-clicking on their bodies and clicking on Loot. Since you've only limited space with which to store looted items, pick only the most expensive ones first, and only steal pants and sandals if you've the space for them. Generally, weapons, body armor, and helmets are the more expensive items. You can also equip the best armor you can loot, but take care not to encumber yourself too much. It will do you no good to put on the heaviest armor, only to get swarmed upon and die because you couldn't outrun hostiles. After filling up your inventory, go back to town and sell the looted stuff. Then go back and repeat the cycle again. After you save enough cats, buy backpacks. Needless to say, backpacks can increase your inventory space, greatly increasing your capacity to store looted items, increasing the revenue you get per looting run. And while this is a matter of preference, I would advise you not to buy anything larger than the medium backpacks. Larger ones can store much more, true, but I find that I had to let the characters carrying them hang back a great distance during looting runs, just so they can have an ample head start if things hit the fan. Even if this doesn't work most of the time, since large backpacks greatly reduce a character's movement speed. Some of the guides I've read, though, encourage buying larger ones, as they can also increase your character's strength, so this aspect is all very subjective. It just so happens that I place a greater premium on mobility. Sometime during this entire process, you should hire 1 or more squad mates. This will ensure that you can loot even more items per run, significantly ramping up profits. This would also be the time to assign roles to your characters. You can have one act as a tank, pick the one with the greater endurance stat, give him or her heavier armor pieces, and check the taunt button to have the character aggro enemies. And one as a medic, but this is all a matter of preference. As you do more and more looting runs, you should be able to outfit your whole squad with better armor and weapons. This ends my first Kenshi Basics guide. I'll see you in the next one where we first make our first settlement. This has been Retroburn, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It would go a long way to supporting my efforts. Stay cool, stay frosty.